dear friend, and I really mean that. And Lieutenant Governor Mcdaniel, thank you for being here. Well, I stand here this afternoon, and I'm overwhelmed, and that doesn't happen too many times. I've been on many stages, and I've spoken before many groups. And today is a historic day in Oklahoma. It's a special day in Oklahoma. Many of us have heard that saying about we grow and we thrive and we evolve on the shoulders of giants. Today, we stand on the shoulders of the RNC, and that's very significant. It's an important part of the history of Oklahoma and of Oklahoma City. And I often say to the Hispanic groups I talk to at events that we have arrived. We've been here for a long time. We arrived a long time ago. We have our place in this community, and now we are going to really thrive because the Hispanic voter, he's conservative, he's pro-family, he and she, mom and dad, about safety, education, business, Second Amendment, pro-choice. Go right down the list. You just identified the Hispanic voter. Yeah. We just need to go get them. Okay. So I get to say a few more remarks later, but I'm going to start today's program by introducing Mr. Francis Pancho Hobbs, who will give us an invocation.
Let's pray. Oremos. Lord, we give you the praise for this special day. Gracias te damos, Señor, por este día tan especial. Lord, we are so excited for the promise that you have, promise for blessing, for renewal, for growth, for your righteousness. Oh Dios, tú eres fiel a tus promesas, a tu justicia, al desarrollo, a la superación. Lord, we know that this day has been a long time in coming, that many have sacrificed to make this possible, that there have been vision of your public servants who see this great opportunity to bless the people of Oklahoma. Amado Dios, tantos se han sacrificado para traer este día y sus labores nos han bendecido en el día de hoy. We want, Lord, that this RNC Community Center be an outpost of encouragement, of wisdom, of instruction, of a better way forward. Queremos, oh Dios, que este lugar, este ministerio, sea un lugar de consejo, de sabiduría, de superación, de fortaleza. Lord, we want what's done here in this place be in accordance with your will and not ours. That we can help your purposes and not seek our own personal advantage. Queremos, oh Dios, buscar, procurar tu voluntad y no la nuestra. Que todo esto resulte conforme lo que tú anhelas. Lord, we know that the evil one is out there. We know that there are those who don't know you. There is a spirit of rebellion and pride. We pray, Lord, that you would grant your protection, your shielding, your blessing upon all who come here and all who are seeking something better. Queremos, oh Dios, que tú reprendas toda maldad, toda inmundicia, toda violencia que pudiera acechar a todos los que estén aquí, que estén así colaborando. Lord, we know that with man these things are impossible, but with you all things are possible. We want, Lord, that all of this will be for your glory and not ours. Queremos, oh Dios, que esto sea conforme tu voluntad, no la nuestra, y que con el hombre es imposible, pero contigo todo es posible, que se haga tu voluntad y no la nuestra. This is our prayer for our blessing, but to give you the honor and the glory. Queremos, oh Dios, tu bendición, pero que la honra y gloria sea tuya. In the name of Jesus, en el nombre de Jesús. And the Oklahoma folks said, Amen.
Thank you, my friend. Next, I'm proud to introduce a young lady to lead our Pledge of Allegiance, Lisa Acevedo. She's a Navy veteran. She's a firehouse, powerhouse in the veteran community. She works hard for that, and very much so in the Hispanic community. If you will, Lisa.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
During the Vietnam War, the highest per capita deaths in that war were Mexican Americans, and I'm very proud of that. And the Hispanic community, one of the greatest faiths and beliefs is about this country. Behind you, you'll see the great seal of the state of Oklahoma. There are 22 flags surrounding that seal here of Hispanic countries here in Oklahoma. That's a great force. We're the largest Hispanic ethnic population in the state. We're the largest voting bloc in the state of Oklahoma now, and we're very proud to have our place in this community. And which leads me to introduce this next giant in our community. Currently, she is the member of the State Board of Education. Thank you, Governor Stitt. She is representative for Senator Langford. And always, no matter where she is, no matter where she goes, she's a role model. She's an inspiration. She's the right person at the right time in Oklahoma. And I'm just so thankful that you're doing what you do and that you're here to offer some words today. Stella Hernandez.
Good afternoon, all. Thank you all so much for being here today. Oklahoma is known as a place of new beginnings. Generations upon generations are aware of that. And we are grateful that the RNC also acknowledges that Oklahoma is that place of new beginnings, and that starts today. So thank you for being here today. Statistics show that every 30 seconds, an eligible 18-year-old Hispanic voter is able to go to the polls and vote. Rep that and think about that on the importance of this voting block. Almost 1 million of them come and have their voices heard at the ballot box. I want to briefly take you back to October of 2010. Just down the street, right at this light, I was emceeing the most and the largest Hispanic festival in this state. And as I'm looking out in the sea of over 1,000 upon thousands of minorities at this festival, Fiestas de las Americas, I saw a booth of the opposition giving out signs from our then President Obama. And so signs were just being handed out, young people walking around with signs, and I thought to myself, surely there's a Republican booth somewhere out here. To my dismay, to my disappointment, there wasn't one. But I did see a redhead walking around shaking hands. And as I saw him, he was engaging, he was talking to folks, and when I got a glimpse of his face, it was Senator James Langford. At that time, it was Congressman James Langford running for office. You see, the Hispanic population is not a monolithic group. We don't vote on one issue, we vote on multiple issues. And for that reason, I want to leave you today with this reminder that the Hispanic community is about relationships. Senator Langford understood that. And he was here making sure that he listened. And I share that with you because at that time, our community was thirsty and hungry to have those conversations. And we are grateful for leadership, and leadership matters. And that's what's happening today. So we thank you to the RNC. Thank you to our governor, our lieutenant governor, who has been extremely and instrumental in making sure we get to this day. So thank you, Lieutenant Governor. Thank you for all that you're doing. And Oklahoma will continue to be that beacon on a hill. It's going to be that city that is even now known of the place that stands and does the right thing all the time. So we thank you all for all that you're doing. So let's go forth and continue doing good. Thank you.
I want to do something very quickly that is always important to me, and there are a lot of elected officials, dignitaries in the crowd that have taken time from their very busy schedules to come here and pay tribute to the Hispanic community of Oklahoma City. Representative Eric Roberts, I know he's here. Representative Tammy West, my dear friend Tammy West. Representative Max Wolfley, where is Max? Raise your hand. There you go. Of course, Representative Nicole Miller. I know she's here. My friend at the courthouse, Larry Stein. Where are you? And County Commissioner Brian Mon. He's back in the corner somewhere. Mr. Todd Russ is a representative candidate for treasurer. Kendra Wesson, who is a candidate for the from Norman. For the state treasurer. Oh, I didn't know you were here. Marilyn, where are you? There you are. Thank you. She's a hard fighter. She's a go-getter. She fights hard for everything she gets. Willard Lindsay, who is a County Commission candidate for District 1. Anastasia Pittman, who is a candidate for County Commission. Matt Blueball here, representing Congresswoman Bice. Matt, where are we? Back to and Dr. Monique Brewer from Rose State College. I don't know if she... Oh, there she is. Thank you, Doctor, for doing that. All the good things we're looking forward to doing at Rose State. Yes. Oh, of course. The county chairman. He's only sitting right here in front of me. He should have thrown something at me, and he probably will. As Senator Garvin able to get here, I know she said she was on her way. Well, she'll be here after a while. And now I have the honor of introducing, I think, one of two people who is very instrumental in making today happen. A few weeks ago, Pam Pollard, I think she called me and she said, you know, Fred, we just got the okay to open a Hispanic Center in South Oklahoma City. And I really couldn't believe that she was actually saying that. But she said, you know, we've talked to some donors in Oklahoma City. We've talked to the chairman of the party. We've talked to other people. We've got the people. We've got the professionals to come in here and make it happen. Let's hire a director who is Cam Uola. Cam, raise your hand here. He is the director of that center. And Cam's going to do some magic. We're going to do voter registration. We're going to have events here. We're going to do it all. And so one thing led to another, and you know, I told Pam, just point me the right direction because we will make this happen. It was very easy for me to agree to be chairman of this center and help in any way I can. So, of course, the other person, Steve Curry. Let me introduce Steve first, National Committee Man, Steve Curry. Steve.
It's a true honor and pleasure to be here today. And I was just standing there looking around the room, and I noticed a lot of familiar faces. But you know what? More importantly, I saw a lot of faces I haven't seen before. That is what this is all about. It's about outreach and reaching out to underserved community from a political standpoint and for service, for helping that community grow in many ways, not just politically, but on the standpoint of economics, education, and other things that are all important. The reason this is so important to me is that I look back, and when I was first elected to the county chairman of Oklahoma, Ken now has to fill that spot right now and does a great job, by the way. I tried to diversify my executive committee. We began to outreach to other places. And I had successes in the black community, I had successes in the Asian community, but for some reason I wasn't getting traction in the Hispanic community, which baffled me because I knew that the values that we have in our party, especially those family values and the value of life and the value of entrepreneurship, that those things that are really important aligned. But we weren't able to very effectively communicate that. This center is a culmination of that over 20 years that we've been working for. And I'm so proud that for the little part that I played in helping get the RNC here. In fact, we're even working on trying to get a meeting here next spring that will give us even more exposure here. So, but with that, I'm standing in the way of a lot more important speakers behind me, so I'm going to keep my comments very short and just say how grateful I am to everyone in this room and to all the people, Fred and everybody else. If I start naming names, then I'm going to leave somebody out. All the people that made this happen, thank you so much, and I'm so proud to play the little part in this. Thank you very much.
I think I left out his introduction because I work with him so closely and such a good friend. Mr. Miguel Garcia is Vice Chairman of the Governor's Hispanic Council. He's Oklahoma City proud lawyer and a very important part of the Hispanic community leadership. And I do want to recognize the Republican women of Central Oklahoma, Valerie. After we get through here, we've got Bedlam Barbecue, we've got cookies and tea, and the ladies of that organization put all the cookies and stuff together, and we got more cookies than everybody can take home. So please do. So next, of course, and I mentioned her a little bit ago, but I've known her for many years now, and she's always working, she's traveling, she's doing, and by the way, she does this at her own expense. That's the real hard part to believe, as Steve does. These committee people, they do this at their own expense. And so without saying much more, let me introduce Pam Pollard, your Oklahoma National Committee Woman.
Thank you all very much. It truly, truly is an honor. I look around, as Steve said, I see a lot of familiar faces from our Hispanic community that we have talked about through all these years. But in thinking about what could I say today to show my heart of where we are and the appreciation for everything, you know, when you have no better words, you just look to the scriptures. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 says, "For everything there is a time and a season and a purpose under heaven." I just want to say to the Hispanic community and to the supporters of this Hispanic community, this is your time. This is your season. We're here. We've been there. I have to say to Fred and Estella, we've reached out and brought in different people and you know, in the Hispanic community, and we've had such endearing hearts. But Fred and Estella dedicated themselves to changing the relationship. This wouldn't have happened without them. So I give a personal thank you and recognition to Estella Hernandez and Fred Mendoza for making this happen. And I'll end with this. You might think it's good news or bad news, whichever way you want to take it, but we're here and we're here to stay. We're not going anywhere. So at this time, it's my honor to introduce a dear friend, someone that we affectionately call my political son. He affectionately calls me political mom, but we have a Secretary of Tourism, and if you ever think about the tourism in the state of Oklahoma, it's an ambassadorship. And I think there is no greater ambassador for the state of Oklahoma than our Lieutenant Governor, Mcdaniel.
Thank you, Mom. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Listen, this puts a big smile on my face for sure. See a lot of familiar faces, but as Steve said, a lot of new faces too. That is wonderful. But I had the honor of serving as the chairman of the Oklahoma Republican Party for a number of years ago, and then went on to work for the Republican National Committee. Got hired by Reince Priebus, you may remember that name, who did a wonderful job as the chairman of the Republican National Committee. We took the Senate in 2014, and we took the presidency in 2016. We're going to get that presidency back here in a couple years. That's right. But I traveled all over the country in 2014, 2016, every state in the country, doing a lot of this, doing a lot of these openings, and I got so jealous. I kept telling Reince and then Ronald Mcdaniel, who is now your wonderful chairman of the RNC, said, hey, we got to open a center in Oklahoma and in Oklahoma City with a thriving, growing Hispanic community that we have in Oklahoma. It was a no-brainer. And I have to say this, too. The Republican Party has to get out of its comfort zone. We've got to expand because if we take our platform and what we believe as a party to across our 77 counties, to every state in the country, that platform and that message, it resonates. That's right. It resonates in the Hispanic community, African American communities, any community. And for us to get out of our comfort zone, it requires to do things just like this. To hire people from the community, by the way, voter registration drives, getting this community involved in local races, getting them as candidates, conservative Republican candidates. That is the beginning of what this center is all about. And so I'm very proud to see this from crisscrossing the country. There's not a better state to live, work, and play than the state of Oklahoma. That is for sure. But we've got to make sure that we stay a conservative state, and we're doing that in the state legislature. It's now time to do that at a local level. It doesn't happen without community centers like this. So to the RNC, to the state party, to our new state chairman, just thank you. Thank you for your leadership, not quitting on this idea and the vision that you had for this. It's a really big deal. And so with that, really at the top of our executive branch, the individual who is leading the way, who has brought business principles inside of state government that was so desperately needed, is your governor and my governor, who will be getting reelected this fall. That's right. And everybody here is going to be doing a call center for him. Your governor, Governor Kevin Stitt.
Thank you so much. I could sit here. I'd run through walls for Matt Pinnell, wouldn't y'all? Isn't he unbelievable? He's a great ambassador for our state, and just thank you for your leadership, everything you're doing. Man, it's an exciting day for me to be here with all my friends, and I want to echo a lot of things that the Lieutenant Governor just said. The Hispanic community is so important to the state of Oklahoma. About 12% of our population. So it's just my honor to be here. This is the 32nd RNC dedication around the country, and I think that RNC and our party is recognizing how important the Hispanic community is to our respective states. But also, I think it's important to talk about the values that I see in the Hispanic community that are really my values and our party's values. They are so family-oriented. I tell my kids, I tell them we could really learn something about the family values that the Hispanic community has and how they take care of one another. I just really admire that about that community. But faith is so important to the Hispanic community. Entrepreneurial, the hardworking ethos of Oklahomans is really shown bright in the Hispanic community as well. So I love that about this community. And then when they told me that they were having to travel to Dallas and also to Little Rock, Arkansas for their consulate services, that we went to Mexico City and I met with the administration down there, and we got a commitment to bring a Mexican consulate right here to Oklahoma City. So we're actually looking at different sites with them, and our Commerce Department is working to help them find a site, and I know that's going to be very beneficial. But also, I think it's important that we do reach out to every single person in Oklahoma, no matter what their background, their race, because we believe in smaller governments and we believe in individual liberties. And right now, Oklahoma is leading the way. We're like top 10 in mass migration to our state. People are moving here from lockdown states. People are tired of the government telling them how to live their lives. And we believe in these individual freedoms. And so we're inviting everybody. I meet with the Asian community. We've got a very, we've got more I think that, is it the Vietnamese community is like the highest per capita in any state right here in Oklahoma City. And when I meet first and second generation immigrants moving to our country, they are so worried about the direction some folks are trying to take our state because they've come from oppression. They've come from areas where the heavy hand of government and socialism tried to dictate and mandate the way we lived our lives. And so we welcome all Hispanics into the Republican Party. We welcome all different groups into our party. And I'm just excited to be here as governor when we get to cut this ribbon and open this up for your community today. So if you need anything from me, please let me know. We're all for you and we're with you. And God bless the great state of Oklahoma. Thank you.
Christiane Haas, are you still here? Christiane is she's kind of the governor's right hand who works with the Hispanic community on all the programs. She works hard. She's from California, but she got here fast as she could. And I'm trying to talk her into staying here, but who knows? But she's a great person. The first person I ever met when I met Kevin Stitt was Donnell Harder, and she's going to hate me for doing this, but thank you, Donnell. You're just a wonderful person. She works hard, and her husband produces the governor's prayer breakfast every year. So, I mean, it's talent's all over the place. But now it's my privilege to introduce the new chairman of the Oklahoma State Party, Oklahoma State Republican Party, A.J. Ferate.
Thank you, Fred, and it's so exciting to be here with this group. Even as I was beginning to run for chair, I was told that this was coming together, and this excites me because not only did my grandmother not speak English until she was 10 years old, she grew up in a small corner of New Mexico speaking Spanish. But it excites me for other reasons because some of my best friends, some of the people I'm closest to are from the Cuban community and the community from Mexico. So one of the common things that I have heard on a regular basis when I'm with people that are conservatives in those, is I hear a term, somos los hijos de Reagan. We are the children of Reagan. And I think that that's so true for every single person in this room, because I don't see a person in this room that wasn't either born or living during the time of Reagan or is a product of the Reagan generation. And it's that Reagan generation that the New York Times really wants the Hispanic community to forget about. And I say that because today in the New York Times, I don't know, did anybody see this? You saw this morning? New York Times wants to say what the idea of a far-right Latina is. It's somebody who believes in God, somebody who goes to church, somebody that focuses on religious liberty, school choice, and protecting life. If that's what a far-right Latina is according to the New York Times, come on board. We'll take you all. We'll take each and every one. And so that's what's exciting about that, is even here in our own community. The community is growing. We see the Stanley Rother Shrine just being built just down the street from where we are. The parishes of Sacred Heart and Holy Angels will be moving in there as a community. And it's going to be an exciting time for this community. I grew up Catholic. I understand and appreciate what the faith brings to these two people of Hispanic tradition. It brings that understanding of helping out each other, not relying on government, trying to work toward common ground, but also that protection of life and that fight for freedom. So I am so excited that this opened today, not too long after I became chair. And I look forward to coming down here as often as you'll have me. So thank you very much. Now, I'm told to introduce a man that used to be my congressman. I say used to be because I always felt like my member of Congress needed to be shorter than me. So I moved out of his district. But I'm very excited to call Congressman Lucas my friend, and I believe he now represents this district as well. And so come on up, Congressman Lucas.
You know, Mr. Chairman, I appreciate that introduction very much. And while sometimes people occasionally refer to me as the tall guy, they never refer to me as the handsome guy the way they do the chairman. I'm a little envious of that, Mr. Chairman. That said, thank you all for being here. And thank you to the National Party, to the resources, working with the state to make this facility possible and the things we're going to accomplish. As was alluded to, I've been around long enough that when I first started out, we still had 6 congressional districts in Oklahoma. And the old 6th district was Northwest Oklahoma, South Side, Downtown, and Northeast Oklahoma City. A great mixture of diversity and cultural perspective. Yeah. In 2000, when the census numbers were crunched, unfortunately under the old Democratic leadership, we'd not grown as much as the rest of the country, and we went from 6 to 5. And the court picked the map that took me out of Oklahoma County, took me out of the South Side. Now, for 20 years, I represented basically the northwest half of Oklahoma. But now, with the wonderful wisdom of the legislature and the governor and redistricting, some of you, hopefully all of you who live on the South Side, saw my name on the primary ballot last Tuesday. And will see my name with a big X beside it on the general election ballot in November. So what can I say? Yes, I still have Northwest Oklahoma, but I've got the South Side again. I'm home. Thank you for the chance to represent you again. But you see, as my cohorts today have noted to you, it doesn't matter where you live in Oklahoma. It really doesn't matter where you come from. We have a common spirit about family and responsibility, the desire to move our families and give our children the opportunity to live up to their potential. That's what this center represents today. Broadening people's perspectives, helping them make choices that are in their best interest. In my opinion, that just happens to be a Republican perspective to drive us forward. So again, thank you all for what's been accomplished and what will be accomplished. Now with that, I have a special opportunity to ask you to turn your attention to the video screen for a presentation from the National Party Chairman, Ronald Mcdaniel.
Hello, Oklahoma Republicans. I am so thrilled to celebrate the grand opening of the Oklahoma City Hispanic Community Center. I'm especially excited to award Jonathan Hernandez with the Chairman's Champion Award. Since then, he has become an invaluable Republican leader on college campuses throughout the state and made a tremendous impact. Jonathan, thank you for all you do for your community and our party. As we honor Jonathan's hard work and dedication, we celebrate this new community center. It will strengthen ties between Oklahoma's Hispanic community and the Republican Party. I look forward to seeing the center flourish as we work together to keep Oklahoma red. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
Please welcome back Jonathan. People taking pictures, so let's stand there for a minute. I'm going to take a picture with this one as well. I'm not going to put it on here. caught it. They want you to put it on. Let's take a picture with the photo. You gotta get that in the picture. Congratulations. Thank you.
John. This young man's everywhere, all over the state. He's made more converts to the Republican Party in colleges than anybody I know, and so it's well deserved and it's great recognition. We're at the end of our formal program, formal presentation, and I get a lot of pats on the back, but I look out at so many people here that have come to lunches and dinners and events, and that's what, it's a synergy. That's what brings all of this together. All of you are here, and to me, you're here as a tribute and a recognition of the Hispanic people as conservatives and a main thrust in the Republican Party now. This campaign, this significant effort today sends a green light of authority, inclusion, and motivation to people who know they're Hispanic. They just don't, know they're conservative Hispanics. They just don't want to talk about it a lot. But there's a great sense of legitimacy in what we're doing here today. And again, you just can't underestimate the sheer power and strength of that in our peers as we move forward in the world of politics in Oklahoma. And I'm going to say one more thing about Governor Stitt, even though he had to leave. From the moment I met him, I go back a long ways with governors. I've met just about all of them in the last 50 years. And when he asked me to serve on the transition team, we talked. He said, "What can we do together?" He didn't say, "What can I do for the Hispanic community?" And there's a world of difference there, because we don't want anybody to do anything for the Hispanic community. We don't need anybody to do anything for the Hispanic community. We stand on our own. We are a community of wealth, of education, of success, of family values, of every value that is the best that this country has to offer. And we stand on that. So we're ready to move forward with that strength, and now with another identity. So I thank you for being here as a tribute to the Hispanic community of Oklahoma. This is a great day for all of us. Thank you. We've got barbecue, Bedlam barbecue. We've got cookies. We've got all kinds of things.